Afternoon, everybody.
What's up, Coach?
Whew. It's an exciting time, you know. Giving God the glory for 23-6, 13-5. Really proud of these kids for where they are today. You know, I think when you look at our team, one starter back from a year ago, and seeing what they've been able to accomplish and do is really there to be commended. And I couldn't be more proud of them. Again, we have a lot left to play for, and got a tough road to go this weekend, obviously, in that tournament. But, you know, I say this all the time, if you can navigate a conference tournament, you can navigate the NCAA tournament. A lot of times that conference tournament can be a whole lot worse, and you're playing people that are familiar with you, great coaches, great players, and you're doing it, you know, really quick fashion. So, and, you know, excited about the week, excited about the opportunity. We've had a couple days off, gave them Sunday and Monday off, well deserved. I think a couple kids really needed it, both physically and mentally. And we'll get back after it today. Obviously tomorrow will be a quick day. We'll work out here, and then we'll fly to Kansas City tomorrow night. And Thursday's going to be a really busy day, quick day, and then you get ready to play. We went from playing the early game to playing the late game. We were going to play at 11, and then all of a sudden we're at 7:30. So makes for a long Friday sitting around, and but we'll get a lot of studying done, and my group needs to study right now. So we'll get a lot of study hall hours in while we're on the road. But again, super proud of our kids. Really proud of our Saturday, our fans. What a special day for the University of Texas, for our women's basketball program. Just a really neat deal, and again, so appreciative of everybody that got on board with that, and helped us raise what I think is about $136,500 for the neighborhood Longhorn program. So pretty neat deal, pretty cool. Again, that's what your women's basketball program can do for you, and I'm proud of our kids and our program that we were able to do that. So,
Vic, the emotion Saturday was pretty high. And you think about this team, it's not like 12 girls have been together for 5 years. I mean, they're all kind of mixed in. And it wasn't just the seniors.
Yeah.
I mean, does that say something about what you've been talking about with this team, how close they are?
yeah, I think they care deeply about each other, you know, and I think that's something that's evolved. You know, senior days are always it's one of the finalities that you have in a season. It's not the last game typically, but it is the last home game, and your last home game in front of your fans. And for kids like Audrey and Joe, who've been here 4 years, it's the culmination of so many things. And so, you know, I think you saw Aaliyah Matharu, you know, really emotional and teary-eyed, and some of our other kids too. And it just, and it shows the investment that we all have in each other. And so I think you're right. I do think we're getting closer. Our chemistry's getting better. You can't win 8 in a row, y'all, without having some type of chemistry and some type of emotional attachment to each other. I mean, basketball's a game that'll get you if you got some, you know, issues, you know. And so, I'm not saying we're perfect, but I'm saying we do have, you know, a group of kids that care about each other.
I know you want to win a championship regardless of who it's against, and when you go to Kansas City, that's the whole goal. But you know, your last 2 losses were against, you haven't lost since Baylor. How much would your kids relish the opportunity to get another shot at them this year? Just especially knowing that, you know, they probably won't face them again unless it's in the Final Four.
Yeah, I think right now our kids' confidence is pretty high, and I think any opportunity, you know, what you guys know about me, and you'll find I'm not looking past Kansas State. You know, we're one at a time, but you know, I think our kids relish the chance to go play. You know, our goal is to play 3 games. I told them the other day before I turned them loose on Saturday afternoon, I'm packing 3 suits. I hope I have to use all 3, you know. And so, you know, that's the goal, but you can't get looking ahead because we're fixing to play, you know, a Kansas State team they just keep getting better and better. Jeff's done a tremendous job with them, and they've got an All-American on their team and a difference player, right? They got two freshmen, 2 all-freshman team players, and so, you know, we had a knockdown drag-out with them at their place. We had to play really well that night, y'all, to win. So, you know, our focus will be on them, but I think our kids right now are just excited to continue to play, and you know, I'm happy for them. They've accomplished a lot, y'all. They've had some, you know, they've done some really remarkable things, and you know, I'm awfully proud of them and happy for them.
How much does seeding matter to you? If you're the 2 seed or the 3 seed coming back home in the NCAA tournament, how much? I mean, does any of that?
Yeah, I think it does.
Okay.
I do. I think it certainly can matter, and you know, it's the difference between playing a top 25 team that second round game and not playing a top 25 team in that second round game. So, you know, I think it matters. I think the NCAA tournament's all about getting hot and having a little luck, and the luck piece is the matchups. And then the other luck piece is, okay, where do you go after if you have a chance to play after? And so I think that's, you know, the best team I ever had, y'all didn't, you know, we got beat in the Elite 8 out at Oregon as the number 1 seed, but we had to play the number 2 seed in front of about 12,000 people in lime green. So that was the unlucky piece about that, but that's the way the NCAA tournament is.
And then, were you surprised you didn't have a first team All Big 12 player? I mean, that.
You know, I am, but there's a side of me that understands it a little bit. You know, I was on the phone this morning with a reporter, and you know, their comment was, you know, and I've heard this now since I've been here a little bit, that, you know, there seems to be this, I need to be careful here, but you know, it goes back to what I wore up here last week, right? Texas against everyone, and you know, I'd hate to think that people are trying to hurt kids because of something they have no control over. You know, that it's Texas, and so everybody's out to get. I would really hate to think that that's what we're dealing with. Does it have a little stench? Maybe. But, you know, when you look at our stats, y'all, I think that's what makes us such a great team. We have 4 kids averaging 10 points a game, pretty much. So how do you know, pick between that?
So I was
you
gonna
know,
say, could you pick one that you'd put on and not the other?
Yeah, I mean, it's just really hard. I mean, I think when you look at the overall player that has the most impact or the most statistical categories, I mean, you know, you can, again, it's hard to put value unless you're me. Like, I value them all, and they all bring something to the table that if we didn't have one, we couldn't win. And so it's really, really difficult. You know, Rory, you know, I'm really proud of her. She's in 4 different categories, and easily could be in a 5th. We won't talk about what the 5th one is, but she could easily be that one too. And so at the end of the day, you got a lot of kids that received a lot of awards, and all of them are well deserved. I'm excited about the 4 that we had. I think it's a great indication of our team. We don't have that one individual that you go on the list. And again, I'm a coach. I go do it too when I'm voting. Oh, she's averaging 18 points a game. Boom, automatic. Oh, she's getting 16 and 9. Boom, automatic. When you go to mine, it's hard to, I don't have that 16, 18 point player a night. No, I got 4 getting 10, another one getting 8. And when you look at our last 8 games, y'all, and you go, okay, how are they winning 8 in a row? Well, we're holding people to 52 points a game. We're outscoring people by 16. We're out rebounding people by 7. You know, our leading scorer has moved in those last 8 games. And so I just think it shows you again how good of a team we are. We're really a good team, and you know, I think that there's value in that, because when people go to scout us, who are you going to take away that you think's going to help you win? Because if you take them away, I got somebody over here that could jump up and get 16 on you, or 18 if you're not careful. Ebo has a career high Saturday, 17. Audrey had 16 2 games ago. So I just think it's really a great indication more than anything that we have a really good team.
Coach Schaefer, do you have any routines that you keep, with the team when you're on the road? And is this a regular road game? Do you treat it just like any other road game, or is there things that you do to make sure that it's...
Yeah, we do. We the night before, we always, when we land, we usually go eat, and then we go to the arena. It's a real casual 40 minutes of just shooting, 20 minutes on each end. I rebound, I pass, and I stay with my shooters just to make sure I'm comfortable with them and they get comfortable in the gym. The post players and the point guard are on the other end. And then we go back to the hotel and watch film. The next morning when we get up, we get up and have breakfast, we watch film, and then we go to shoot around. And then typically if we're after a late game, we have study hall. And we always leave the hotel between 5 and 5:15 for a 7 o'clock game. I like to be at the arena hour and a half before tip. Gives us a chance to get our shoes on, put our braces on, and be on the floor an hour and 15 prior to tip. So that's a normal road trip. Now that we're going, into the conference tournament, a little different and a little same at the same time. So, the biggest thing on this trip is that we're going to practice here, then fly out. Land, go eat, have dinner, watch film. Saturday, because they only give us 45 minutes in the arena, we have to find another place to have practice. I'm really trying to take our kids to the men's game. I think they'd enjoy that. It'd be fun. And we want to support them. And they play early. We were supposed to play at 11 too. Now that'd have been a train wreck, huh? Men and women playing at 11 in the morning. But so it's going to afford us maybe to get up, go have our hour and 15 minutes of defense at a high school or a junior college, go to the game, come back, have lunch, have study hall, give them a little downtime, nap time, and then go have dinner, and then watch film and go to bed. And so our practice will be broken up that way, because when I go into the main arena, I'm going to do nothing but offense. We're going to do shooting, we're going to do offensive stuff. So if we can get our defensive stuff out of the way in the other arena, that's what we'll do on the road. Obviously, from Friday on, it's TBA. You just have to adjust with what's going on. The thing is, if you keep winning, the recovery time gets less and less. So we play the late game, Friday. If you're fortunate enough to win, you play at 2:30 Saturday. You play at 1 on Sunday. And so, I've played in 5 straight championship games in the SEC, and that Sunday game can be a bear, especially how we play, right? So it can really be a challenge. And the thing is, you can't go into a game and go, well, if we're going to have legs Sunday, we need to do this on Friday or Saturday. If you do that, you won't have to worry about Sunday. Your butt will be at home, and you'll have all the legs you want while you're watching TV. So you have to do what you do. And you got to hope that your prep and your conditioning and everything is adequate enough to get you through it. But for me, it's always one game at a time, one focal point at a time. Get me through this one, I'll get you through the next one. You get through that one, I'll get you to the next one.
You ever have any players go play in Russia professionally? And have you ever talked about kind of the need, maybe financially?
I don't think I've had anybody go to Russia. I've had lots of people go a lot of other places, but not in Russia. I recruited in Russia several years ago, went over there to the Junior Olympics, and went by myself, stayed a couple blocks from the Kremlin, got me I guess it was a cab, somebody that could understand a little bit of what I was saying, told them where I wanted to go, went to the games, would let me in. You know me, I'm not taking that, so I'm walking around trying to talk to somebody that can understand me. Had my driver waiting on me because I didn't want him to leave me. It was like 50 minutes from the hotel. finally got to somebody. They took me in the back of the room, and the room was probably as big as me to you. 14 guys in there, and they all had an Uzi, and I didn't. And I was down to my skivvies. Strip searched me.
What was the deal? What was?
They weren't going to let me in the game because I was a guy. When I walked into the game, there were several female American coaches already in there sitting down watching the game. They wouldn't let me in. And finally, I guess, I don't know if I raised hell enough with the right guy or whatever, but I got in to see the games. And, but yeah, you ain't lived till you've been strip searched in Russia. You know, and everybody's got an Uzi but you.
That's a bumper sticker.
Yeah.
That's the headline, that's for sure.
You were at A&M when Brittany Griner was coming up. Did you recruit her? Did you get?
I did, yeah.
Are you close with her family at all?
I'm not.
Thoughts on
You know,
what
when
she's facing?
we had her, she visited us for a home game, and if I remember right, her dad's a police officer, and or was at the time, and her dad lost her cell phone somewhere in Reed Arena, and we looked all over and couldn't find it. And when they walked out of the arena that day, I told Coach, I said, "We ain't getting her." And he goes, "Why?" I go, "Because we lost her dad's cell phone. We never found it." And a week later, she committed to Baylor.
Overall thoughts on conference tournaments. I mean, I died on that hill a long time ago, but beating your brains out for 18 games and
Yeah.
then it's decided in 3 days. You
Yeah.
guys, it's not a big deal. Teams could steal a bit, it's a big deal. But
Yep.
just your overall thoughts on that concept.
Yeah, I think it is. For some teams, you can go in there, relax, play, and let the chips fall where they may, and probably doesn't affect some teams. And then for other teams, it's their hope, right? It's their opportunity. I mean, you look at a Kentucky that just ran it in the SEC, won 4 straight, and they get into the NCAA tournament because of that, probably. And so it has its value, I think, to certain people. And for me, I've changed over the years. Now it's another championship you have a chance to win. So, hey, I'm all for it. We want opportunities to win championships. That's what we practice for. It's what we play for. And so, for us, it's a great experience for our kids. I want them to experience. That's why I want to take them to the men's game. It should be a fun time, right? And at the same time, it's kind of a prelude to the big tournament, And again, if you can get through that one, and you can get through, to me, you can get through anything. So, for me, I'm for it. Now, used to, I'd think, God Almighty, we just beat our brains out, against each other for 16, 18 games. Now we got to go try to do it again. But I think there's more value than not value, and I think that I think it's good for our game. I do. I do think it's good for our game.
Coach, has any of the seniors talked about going into the WNBA at your school?
I think it's a dream. I think it's an aspiration of Joe's. I think it's something that is on her. It's on her plate and her. Something that's on her mind. But it's not something that Joe talks about. She's like me. She's just so focused on today's practice and the next day and the next day and just getting better and just winning. And when it's all said and done and all over, then she'll worry about the next thing. Yeah.
Back on conference tournaments real quick, is it tough for players to have the right mentality about it if they know they're already in the NCAA tournament?
I don't think so. I think kids want to compete. I think they want to play. They'd much rather play than practice. So I think for kids, it's, hey, we get to miss school, we get to travel, we get to play games. And those are all fun things, right? And so I think for them, I think it's, shoot, let's play as long as we can. Let's stay here as long as we can. Let's win a championship. Like Coach said, if we're going to play, we might as well play to win it all, right? And so I think that's, if you've got the right kids, and I do, I've got the right kids, I think that's their mentality on it.
The stretch Rory had at the end of the first half, that wasn't second team All Big 12, that was All-American stuff.
Yeah.
And then there's one shot of her, she hits a tough bucket and then gets a deflection on the press. Her ceiling just seems like it's really high.
Yeah, the kid's going to be, you know, she's got a chance to really be one of the all-time greats to ever play here at Texas. And, you know, she just, she commands your respect. She warrants your attention, both ends. That's the thing. Like, you tell me 10 players that do what she does in our league. If you want to have an argument, which y'all tried to bait me into earlier, here's your argument. You give me 10 players in the Big 12 that do what she does, and I'm fine with it. But there ain't 10. There ain't 5. Both ends of the floor that warrant your scouting report, that make you right on your scouting report. You better do, when you're dealing with her, you better do this on this end, and you better be aware of this on this end. There's not that. So that's the part that's got a little stench to it to me. But again, I understand, and all those kids that receive, I have no problem with that. I really don't. Those are all great kids, great players. But when you start wanting to, you know, if somebody wanted to make that argument, and I'm not doing that right now, I'm just telling you, you'd be, you know, if we sat everybody down and talked about it, there's not 10 players, there's not 5 players that do what she does. They just aren't.
And then she had to take a bite out of the floor on that hip.
Yeah, I mean, she's a tough cookie, huh? I mean, she's tough. She's just a tough kid, and I just, you know, and she's had that happen before. You know, it's not the first time, but that's because she's always in the middle of everything, and that's what makes her great. You know, I hope my kids see, dang, Rory got 4 awards. Well, you know why she got 4 awards? Because she does it every day in practice. Every day. She don't take no plays off. She does it every day. The last few weeks, she's been there getting up extra shots. You know, it's just the game rewards those that invest in the game. And, you know, that's the answer. You get out of it what you put into it. And, no, you know, she plays really, really hard, y'all, and on both ends, just really, and is responsible. You know, on the offensive end, she's so responsible for everything that happens on that end, and how it happens, and then is responsible for everybody else. I mean, you know, I get these sheets back during the course of the season, and you know, she's really evolved and matured. But I can remember getting a sheet back in November, December, probably December, after she'd heard it about 100 times between me and Coach Jackson, telling her, hey, you're responsible for everybody. You're the point guard. So you got to make sure everybody's in the right place at the right time. And, you know, she wrote on one sheet, it might have been after a loss or a tough game, she said, I know it's my fault. You know, but that's the mentality that it takes, right? It's the mentality to be accountable for everybody. It's the accountability of a quarterback when somebody goes in motion and they're wrong. Well, that's your job to make sure they go in motion at the right time. You obviously aren't communicating very well if they're doing, you know, and so, but I think that's the accountability piece of a quarterback, of a point guard, to make sure that your teammates know what's going on during the course of a game. And then it's my job to make sure that she knows, whether it's in a timeout or while the game's going on. So, you know, she and I, we're still, you know, we still are figuring some things out. But I think that's what's so encouraging, is that here she is as a freshman, and she's got a lot of responsibility, and she's pretty accountable.
She's driven by that accountability. I'm wondering if she's also, you could speak to it, is she also maybe, is she a chip on the shoulder kind of player too? Is she likely to take this and use it as a personal motivation and some kind of stuff to her, to show you?
Well, I mean, knowing Rory, you know, she's you know, she's highly motivated and a confident kid, and I don't think she'll take it as a slight, to be honest with you. I mean, and again, I don't either. She received 4 awards, y'all. That's pretty good, pretty special. I don't know that I've ever had a player get 4, to be honest with you. But I mean, when you start trying to figure it out, and again, I'm not, but she brings it on both ends. I think that's what makes her so unique. and so special and so valuable to our team.
So then how was she not first team? Like
You're asking the wrong person because I don't get to vote for my own players.
is there any part of this conference tournament, NCAA tournament that you love more than the other? Is there, I mean, there's just so much that goes into all of this that you work all year to
Yep.
get to this point. Is there anything that separates it for you?
You know, I enjoy the back-to-back, the back stuff. I mean, you're playing and, your kids they enjoy it too because there's not any practices, or anything. And especially in this one, there's not even hardly a shoot around to walk through anything. So it's just, eat and sleep and play basketball, And so, that's fun. I think it's fun for the fans, and I enjoy that. I do enjoy, obviously I love the NCAA tournament, and I really love working hard all year to put yourself in a position to host. I think that's really cool and really special. And, I want that for our players. I want them to be able to experience that. And it was so rewarding to see our kids last year get to experience the NCAA tournament, even with all the parameters that we had, even with every day walking over to the convention center and getting tested. And, that was part of our daily ritual, seeing them. And I think what made that so unique is that they finally got to play in front of some fans. And we had a pretty good following in San Antonio. So that was fun just to see the fruits of their labors really come to fruition. For me as a coach, it's just really rewarding. And, you hated it for them for so long during the season, just playing in front of cutouts, cardboard cutouts. That's just no fun, especially how we play. And then you want to compare that to Saturday. And come on, that's why you do what you do. That's when you have Saturday, that's when you go, okay, I get it. I'd rather have Saturday, and if I got to do this on Tuesday, Wednesdays, and Thursdays, I'm in. That's for a kid. I think that's the reward, and so again, that's what made Saturday really special.
Coach, going off of Saturday with so many new eyes in the crowd, how valuable that can that be with the opportunity to host to get some of those people back?
Well, I think I said it after the game. Saturday's ticket was pretty affordable. The next ticket you get in there, if we're fortunate enough to host, it won't be quite that affordable, but you'll still get the same product, and it'll be well worth it. And I think everybody had a great experience on Saturday, and I'm hopeful that those people realize the value of a $99 season ticket in the Moody next year. That a family of four for $400 can see minimum 16 home games of a top 10 program playing in the Moody Center, and it can be something that the family can share and enjoy and do together. Because as y'all know, my fan base is different from the men's fan base. I have people usually that are, older folks that are on fixed incomes, younger families that are on fixed incomes. And whereas the men might have, the professional person in the workplace that, can afford a much steeper ticket. That's okay. But that's the difference between the two programs, and you have to market them completely different. So I think what you do, and I said this earlier today, for me, the value of that game on Saturday isn't in the $9,000 you made on dollar tickets and the $1 popcorn, the $1 Coke, and the $1 hot dogs. You probably didn't make any money off those things. The value of that day for the University of Texas, not just women's basketball and not just the athletic department, the value of that day for the University of Texas, you can't put a price on what took place Saturday in the Drum. You just can't. And the things that we did as a program, as a community, for our community, as a university that day, is immeasurable in my opinion. And that's what we can do in women's basketball for this great institution. You'll make money off me in 4 or 5 years, but I got to build my fan base first. You got to let me get 5,000 general admission season ticket holders, and then 2,000 and 3,000 reserve season ticket holders, and then let those reserve seats grow to 5,000. And now those general admission people that were coming an hour before the game and getting to sit at mid-court, now they're getting moved out because I got reserve season ticket holders that are getting those spots. And now they're going, well, shoot, I don't get to sit in my seat. Now I'm sitting way up here in general admission. Well, I'm going to go ahead and give them another 100 because I want it back down there. That's what happens with us, but it doesn't happen overnight. I got to get people in front of my kids right now. And the way to do that is make it affordable. And that's the way I've done it before, and that's the way we'll do it here. And I think you saw that Saturday. So I don't think anybody walked out of the arena Saturday disappointed or going, I ain't never coming back. I didn't have fun. That team ain't no good. I don't think anybody said that. I think quite the contrary. I think it was a fun day for everybody. So rewarding, y'all. It's so cool to see all those kids. You know what? It wasn't just kids. It was adults too, coming down, wanting to take pictures with my players, wanting to get autographs from them. All those former student athletes that were here, not just basketball players. All those folks having a Tiffany Jackson say, hey, I wouldn't have missed it for the world. You know, I wasn't going to miss this game. That's what it's all about.
Coach, you have players who are bar raisers. You have Rory, Joanne, Lauren, and Hunter. They're raising the bar and not only themselves, but everybody around them. Who raises your bar?
You know, I follow a couple different people in on Twitter. People like John Gordon, you know, and then I constantly pay attention to the leaders in our industry. I think I've been doing it long enough to know what to do and how to do it. I've said this before to you guys. It's like I don't really need somebody prodding me. It's a miserable way to live, but I got no desire to be good. It just doesn't entice me, interest me at all. I want us to be great. I want us to be cutting edge, you know. I want us to be elite. You know, I was coaching those kids as hard in the fourth quarter as I was in the first quarter. And we were up 20, up 15, up 10, you know. I see some things that go on in our game right now, and I don't want to be that person. I got no interest in having that happen to me or going out that way. You know, I want to keep trying to win the big one, the last game of the year. That's my motivation. You know, anything short of that is unfortunately it's at this point in my career is failure. And you know, again, that's kind of a miserable way to live, but it's just more than a check for me. It's my passion. It's what I do. It's cost me valuable time with my own children throughout the course of my lifetime, valuable time with my own wife. I'm just fortunate that I have children and a wife that understand that, and they get it, and that they wouldn't have it any other way either. But it's, you know, it's just kind of the way it is, you know. And when it's not that way for me anymore, you guys will have somebody else up here to talk to, because it's just how I'm made, you know. It's just the way it is, and it's what I want for my kids and my players to experience. So that's kind of the motivating force. So I don't really need anybody prodding me to that. I've just evolved into this and been this person, and it's just the way it is. I can't do anything about it. If it ever changes, like I said, there'll be somebody else up here.
Thanks, guys.
Appreciate y'all. Praise the Lord and hook 'em.